Hi everyone, this is Yaro coming to you live again from my home office here in Brisbane. I've just been moving into my new place and unpacking quite a few boxes that were stored at my previous house and my mother and father's houses as well. And I stumbled across a folder full of some very old posters that I used to advertise the editing and proofreading business Better Edit that I was running. And I also found one poster from one of the very first businesses I offered, which was a web hosting business, and I did use poster advertising rather ineffectually actually to try and get clients for website hosting and domain name registration back in the late 90s and early 2000s. So I want to show you these posters and show you how self-sufficient I was as a marketer. I was doing this all by myself, but also how much I learned and what I can now teach you about poster design, which is very much a direct response method of marketing. It is an offline method of marketing. I took these posters to university campuses and put them up on poster boards, and that actually was and still is today the most effective method of marketing for Better Edit. And I'm sure if you're advertising to the student marketplace, it's something you can consider as a good marketing method. If you have anything that students or international students would be interested in. So let me quickly show you a few of these posters and just point out a few tips as well on how you can make use of postering and learn from what I learned over the years. So this is my very first, not my very first website business I had, but one of the earlier businesses I ran. As you can see, it's for website hosting and domain name registration. Not a business I recommend you get into anymore. Completely saturated. I didn't do very well with it. I did host a few small business websites around the Brisbane area, but it was a very high customer service intensive sort of operation, as well as not very profitable. So I think web hosting is a severely saturated market. I did most of these posters at home on my home computer, and as you can tell, that's a default Microsoft design. You probably recognize the graphic in the corner there. That's one of the very early poster designs. Not the greatest. Improved, got a little bit better. I started using a few templates in Microsoft Publisher. Again, one of the points I want to make here is that I was doing this by myself, so I was limited to my own skills. I just basically printed out the poster after making it on my computer, went down to the copy shop and made a few hundred copies and then put them out on poster boards at campuses. Back then I was actually running a full services editing and proofreading business, is what I like to call it. I also provided transcription services, resume editing, cover letter editing, and also transcribing and translation services. So there's about 5 or 6 services there for an editing and proofreading company, which was actually a big mistake. However, my posters reflected that. I had a lot of different services written on the posters, which was also a big mistake. So one of the first important lessons I learned from poster marketing, and later on in all of marketing in general, was to have a very single and clear message with each advertising medium you use. You don't want to confuse your reputation in the sense that you want to be known as the best at one thing and not a jack of all trades doing a mediocre job at everything. So my posters over the years slowly came to reflect more and more that we were just an academic editing and proofreading service specifically for international students or university students. Here's another one. As you can see, the design is getting simpler. It's getting clearer using pull tabs. The pull tabs are very effective. One of the biggest lessons I learned over the years with poster design was to have a very large font at the top, which would grab someone's attention from the distance, and then a few bullet points just to sell the benefits of using the service. So you start with something that's attention grabbing from a distance, and then grab their attention, and then you can use a smaller font to explain what it is your service does. So I will actually show you a PDF version of the final poster that I have used, or Better Edit has used over the previous years, and you'll see it's quite different, quite simpler to some of these posters. Again, similar design. The heading is getting larger, as you notice, and in fact the current poster's got a really large heading. Dot points, pull tabs are always in every single poster I did. And one of the other things I also did with my poster design was actually to give out little flyers, and I often would hand these out directly to students by walking around campuses and or standing outside the entrances of universities. And these are just a few of the designs. I'll just quickly show you these. You can't really read the text, but they're essentially little descriptions with benefits, a heading, the website address, phone number, email. And incidentally, over the years I actually changed the poster design so that I actually only had one single point of contact, and I found that the best method for my purposes was a website address, and I only gave out the website address on the most effective posters, because what would happen is I had people either call me up or email me with questions that were answered on the website. So I found it better to just not give them a phone number, not give them an email address. on the poster, on the flyer. Just give them the website address. If they're interested, they'll go to the website first. Then if they have a question that they find that's not answered on the website, they could email or phone. In fact, I actually did not encourage phone calling because I didn't like to take phone calls. So I actually tried to get all the questions answered on the website first, and if necessary, an email, so we could open up some sort of dialogue. And those are basically the main tips I wanted to cover. I don't have any more posters to show you. One of the most important points I think that I'm demonstrating here is the fact that offline marketing is really something that a lot of internet marketers don't consider the power of it. It is a very effective means of marketing an online business. Those posters and flyers that I used over the years were basically the foundation for that business. So the entire success that the business currently enjoys comes from being very consistent with an offline marketing method. So, you know, I've tried all kinds of online methods, but in this case with an editing and proofreading service for international students, it's not something they specifically went online looking for. They didn't search for it. They actually reacted to it upon learning about it. So I found the best way was to actually get into their face, show them the service exists, then they go to the website. They weren't proactively searching for the service, so I did have to find ways to get into their face. And things like Google AdWords are not that effective because such a small proportion of people actively search for the editing and proofreading service that I'm targeting. So I did need to find other ways to market, and most of the online methods I used did not convert nearly as well or at such a high ROI. The investment cost for the return I got was quite significant, because poster marketing obviously doesn't cost too much money to produce the posters, and each client can be worth quite a lot over the duration of the period they use the service. So don't forget the power of using offline marketing, and if you are targeting students, poster marketing at campuses is a great method, and I recommend you test it out. That's it for this video, everyone. This is Yaro Starak. Hopefully you're watching this at entrepreneurs-journey.com. That's my blog. If not, just do a Google search for my name, which is Yaro, Y-A-R-O, and you'll find my blog. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.